Hey there, just a quick note before we get into today's episode. Are you tired of staring at a blank screen, wondering what the heck you're going to talk about this week on your podcast? Or even worse, wondering if your episodes are even helping you get clients? What if I could take that planning off of your plate for the next 3 months? I just opened up a done-for-you 3-month episode plan where I will create a custom 12-episode roadmap built for your offers, your opt-ins, your goals, your podcast, so that your podcast leads to email subscribers and clients. You will walk away with a 3-month plan with 12 episode titles, episode purpose, call to actions based on your offers, and a clear content plan that you can plug right into your workflow. So there's no more guessing about what you're going to talk about for at least 3 months. This is a brand new offer, and for the next 2 weeks until January 23rd, you can grab it at a beta price of only $97. The regular price will be $297 after January 23rd. So if you want strategic episode planned just for you and your offers, your business, and I'm not talking about just a bunch of ideas that will go nowhere. This follows my framework. So it'll be all laid out for you, 12 episodes that you do not have to worry about. That's 3 months. So if you are interested, click the link in the description below to get started or to learn more. Now let's get into today's episode. Hey there, I'm Allison Nitch, and this is Podcast First Marketing. Do you hate selling? I certainly do, and it boggles my mind when people say they love it. But today I want to talk about how you can actually pre-sell your offers so that you don't feel like you're actually selling. I mean, I guess we all love making money, but selling, I still struggle with it because I don't want to feel like I'm ever selling to somebody. I want to feel like I'm providing something to them, but it's hard. It's hard to find that balance between the two. Although, funny story, before I became a teacher, this was right out of college. So I was young. I was just out of college. I got a job working for a very well-known rental car company, and I was in their management training program because I had a business degree. If you listen to my previous episode, I did not know what I wanted to do when I grew up. Actually, I don't even know if I talked about it in that episode. That's okay. I was very naive. I was 22 years old, and I didn't realize that to train to become a manager meant you actually had to be in the rental branches, quote unquote, selling. I was terrified. I didn't really know it was selling, but then when I finally realized it, I was like, what? But I was based on a salary and not commission. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do my job and I'm going to be done for the day. And I mean, I don't know what would happen if I didn't sell, but that was fine with me. So I think it was about 6 months in, I started making what they call the top 10 sales for the group. And this was for the entire region. And I'm in the Houston area, or I was, not anymore, of Texas. And that was huge. So to be in the top 10, I was shocked. I was never really selling. I was just telling these people the truth. And I never pressured them. I never wanted them to think I was selling. I literally was just doing my job, telling them what it was that they could have. I didn't have a goal of making a sale. I just thought, well, if they buy it, yay. If not, okay, they don't want it. That's fine. What's funny is I stayed in the top 10 for over a year until I got promoted into the business office. But everyone would ask me, like, what was I telling people? Like, how was I making these sales? And I was like, I just told them, I was like, I just said the truth. I just told them the truth. I just told them what it was. And if they said yes, they said yes. And it was just funny. Like it would make me cringe when I would hear other coworkers as I'm like walking by or whatever, trying way too hard to make a sale. That's where like that car salesman thing got started because they knew they had to make a sale. And what's funny is that we didn't make a commission. So it's like, why? I think everybody was just trying to make it into this top 10 because you got to go to a special dinner and a special event and you actually did get, I don't remember if we got like gifts or things, but it was kind of like this big honor to have it. And I just kept getting in it each month. And most times I was in like really the top 5. But as I would hear these other people just say these things that were just trying to sell, I just wanted to tell them, stop it, just stop. And like, I remember people saying, no, and they would keep going. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just stop. Okay. All of this to say, Selling doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to feel pushy. Just talk. Just talk about what you do. Tell them how you can help them. And I really think it's when we try too hard or we focus on, okay, what I'm saying right now is trying to make a sale or I'm trying to get people to buy from me. That's when I think our content falls short and we lose them. Whereas if you just talk about what you do naturally, and if it's what they really want, they're going to buy from you. And that's where your podcast comes in. When your podcast is built to handle these objections and you're telling your listener what it is or how they can overcome it, and you're answering their questions, you're warming them up to this idea of what you can do for them, which leads them to becoming a lead, which leads them to becoming a lead. That wasn't the words I was going to use, but it came out of my mouth. And this is all before they ever reach out to you. So then they're going to learn even more and want to buy from you. This is where I say your podcast can be quietly selling your offer for you. And you're not pressuring them because they're not standing right there to tell you their objections. You just already know what they're thinking because you've worked with people before. And if this is a new offer you're offering, you can have these ideas of what you think their objections are going to be and talk about those until you get the real objections, which it comes pretty fast. If you haven't been in business very long, just know, and they come fast. If you've been in business for even more than a minute, you know. So what I want to do is to teach how your podcast can be like, it can basically be pre-selling for you. Your episodes are all just about education and teaching. And I think I said this in the last episode. I don't know, I've recorded a few in one day, so I forget. But if you do too many what we call educational content, you're basically just telling them what to do and they're going to go try to do it on their own. What you want to do is you want to build their belief in you and what you have to offer can help them. So when someone hears you talk about your process, that's going to lead them to go, well, maybe that would work for me. Or when you share client wins or even what's worked for you, that kind of makes them think, well, if she's helped them or if she's done this, like, well, that could at least maybe help me. You see this in the health and fitness industry a lot. Like either they themselves have gone through a huge transformation, so they have been there and they know it and they can help you with it, or you've seen what they've done for other clients. A lot of the times we're like, well, how do we know this will work? Well, they're basically telling you, here's how it works. And you're addressing the objections before they even, like I just said, before they even say them to you. Like you are pre-selling them. So they might be having this thought, but what if this or what if that? And then here comes an episode that tells them, well, this is what, and this is what about that. So they're leaning in. By the time they've reached out to you, they're like 1 foot over the line. Like they're getting close to, they just might need to hear a little bit more. So this is where the next episode will come in and so forth until they're like, all right, she's got me. Okay. The reason this works is because you're telling real stories. You're not just trying to make something up. Like what I said about when I worked at the rental car company, I wasn't making them believe they were getting some amazing thing. I was just telling them, well, here's what it is and here's what it does. And if you're wondering what you sell at a rental car company, it's that add-on protection package. Like that's all I was doing was like, would you like the protection package? And they're like, no, why would I need that? And I would just say, okay, well, just so you know, if you don't take it, you're just liable for everything. And then they're like, what? I wasn't going, no, you really need it. Like, what if you do this? And what if you did? I just told them what it was. So if you're telling the real stories of what it does or real stories of who you worked with and your messaging is very clear in what you have to offer, the repetition that they hear you say over and over, this is why when people think that they're repeating themselves, that they're like people are getting sick of it. No, sometimes they need to hear it like 2, 3, 4, 28 times before they're like, oh, wait, what? I mean, that's what happens. And then they start to believe, like you give them these like beliefs of this could work for me. And you show these outcomes that you can provide them. So we don't want to just be constantly throwing up this content just to have it. You want to be showing up in a way and with a message that leads them to working with you. Now, how can we do this without constantly like pitching ourselves? And this is the thing I want to say. You don't have to sell every single week in your episodes. I know a lot of times you will hear like constantly give a call to action, constantly be promoting your offer. You can do it, but not in a, you need to work with me. Here's how you work with me. You need to do it more subtly. Like I might say, I help my clients do this, or my client got this way through my program and I helped her do this, that, and the other. You just have to structure your series so that your offer becomes the obvious next step. Like they've listened to these other episodes and they're like, okay, she's telling me everything I need to hear. Well, how can she help me? And then you give them what you can help them with. When your listeners have heard these first 3 episodes that speak like either directly to what they need, maybe they have struggled with something and you've already explained how you could help them with that, or maybe they had an objection. Well, you covered that objection. By episode 4, you're inviting them to work for you and they've been waiting for it. They don't know they have been, but they are. I talked about this in last month's, it's actually probably all of last month's episodes, about how I heard a podcast and just the way she talked about what she does with her clients and how her offer is laid out. It made me like, well, I want to know more about this offer. And then she would talk about it. And it was like, well, there it is. Now I know more about it. And then I went to her website. And so you're inviting them, you're leading them to that invitation. So you want to stop guessing of what to say each and every week. You want to have this plan and this strategy that builds a podcast that sells for you. Like I like to say, it's pre-selling. You're already giving them everything that they need to know. They just might have some specific questions to them, or they're like, I'm ready to work with you. So I'm one that I don't always like to have to jump on a call to try to not convince someone, but basically, like, I hate discovery calls. I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't like them because I don't want to try to sell to somebody. Like if I'm getting on a call, which if I invite you to work with me, we do jump on a call, but it's more to make sure that we're a good fit together and just to make sure that you have all your questions answered. I am not selling. My podcast is selling. Like it's telling you what I do. That shouldn't be a question of what I do. You may just want to clarify something. But if you're having to get on a call to like talk through exactly what your offer does, you haven't explained it enough. And that's kind of where I'm getting at with this. So I go into a lot of depth on this and how to launch a podcast that works for you in my free private audio training. So if you have not already downloaded that, please get it. It's called Are You Ready for a Podcast? But basically it can be for if you even have a podcast already. I probably should rename it, but I've already named it. So we're going with it. But it's basically the 5 steps you have to leading up to a podcast that works for you. And so it's going to walk you through exactly who you're talking to and my framework and who your ideal listeners are, all of those things that make you, to where all you have left to do is come up with the content. Actually, it kind of sort of starts you planning, but I like to plan with my clients just so we can make sure that they've got their funnel working for them. But if you haven't listened to that private audio training, please get it. It will walk you through those steps. And if you have any questions, I am always a DM away. But next week, I want to show you how to actually build this 3-month quarter funnel. And I use this exact method myself. This is what I teach my clients. And this way, you know exactly what you have to say, when to say it, and it will turn your listeners into clients if you are doing it correctly. And if you're talking about what you do and then leading them to the invitation to work with you. So I'm going to see you right back here in the next episode. Wait, don't leave yet. Before you go on to the next episode, I want to share something with you. If you listen to this episode right now and you're thinking, I know my podcast is good, it's just not bringing me clients and sales, we need to build a strategy that does this. You're not just needing to create more content. That's why I created my Profitable Podcast VIP Day. In one day, we will build your client funnel, go over your offers, and then I will do my magic behind the scenes to give you a strategic podcast profit blueprint, which will include everything you need to build out a profitable podcast. This will include a full audit of your podcast to offer funnel map, 12 strategic episodes with call to actions to your offers, a visibility and repurposing plan built for where you want to show up. This is all customized to you and your offers and your goals. If you want a podcast to bring leads and clients consistently, not just the downloads, apply now at AllisonNitch.com/VIP or click the link in the description.